Yo, check this out. This is Wayne Wonder, representing for Warrior LTV. You see the vision, don't it? See the vision. Warrior LTV. Keep it locked.
Now, I'm gonna tell you. We, as bloggers, these are the issues that we need to address. You understand what I said? Set the bar for the youth. Share, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel. I don't know all this. Brothers and sisters, greetings in the mighty name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. And all things good and wonderful amongst us and about us. Welcome viewers and subscribers. Viewers, if you like the content, subscribe and make it help grow the platform. You don't know. You don't know poor people we defend, you know. We're not a political party or a particular party where we defend. Poor people come first. You know, see? Now, there is an allegation going around where kind of reach our ears, claiming that a certain sum of money, millions, were earmarked to Jamaica government to spend over a certain period. But the condition of the spending of that money now is that the JLP have to spend it up until 2030. You know, see, so the brethren will try that, I say JLP now leave power until 2030. You know, see, Mark Golden is just like a poser. Him just there a whole opposition. You know, see, and this video I'll show, it's at the end I want to listen to the MP for the community. It's a PNP MP, and you hear film docile approach, film little or no emotions or compassion really regarding the whole thing. You know, it doesn't sound right. And when you look on the one we're going down at Clifton the other day, St. Catherine, Portmore St. Catherine, you know, when you look say the same man where tear down the people them house, I him going back down the gun console the people them. Where the PNP party there? I mean, this is an opportunistic, you know, moment. You know, where them there. Where Mark Golden there, no, Mark Golden no. Upper echelon of the PNP party not open them mouth in support of the people or the government. Or for what's right or what's wrong, as if the people them not right. You see, it kind of help confirm the allegations of me here. Say, the money earmark and Andrew HOLNESS have to spend it. Mark Golden and the PNP party get feed them satisfied government paycheck amount and with the added rewards and things like that. So it's beneficial to them same way if you just, you know, stay quiet or inactive as far as I'm concerned. Because I disagree with a Rasta. You know, see, Trish Newman said this guy are comfortable and now do nothing. With him now if he do nothing. Now him not intend to do nothing. He not look so Rasta. He not look so. You see, because, like I say, it's an opportunity this to go establish yourself amongst them people here and cement your position somewhat. You know, see. Now, I'm going to have a long guidelines of reading. A guideline for dealing with informal settlers. But I'm going to show you a few videos. Read this and then jump back into the video them so the item can see what go on. See, this video I'm going to show you now. I want to pay attention to the last part of it with the MP, you know, and how him sound. See, and I can watch the video and jump back in it.
Entire community has been left worried since last evening when several residents received notices demanding that they pack up their belongings and leave the property within the next 2 months. Some of the residents have been living there for more than 50 years. The rural community, which has more than 100 households, is known as Pleasant Hill or Hog Pond and is located near Pennington District in the LlUADASVALE division of St. Catherine. The residents told the Beacon that they were stunned last evening when they saw a man driving through the community handing out the notices for them to vacate the land by December 6 or be removed forcibly. The notice, dated October 6, 2022, accuses the residents of illegally occupying the land. The notice also bears the signature purportedly of the lawyer representing the Commissioner of Lands. One of the residents affected, Andrea Duhaney, said that the government authorities had been in discussion with residents about becoming legitimate owners of the land.
I'm a resident of Pleasant Hill, LlUADASVALE, otherwise Providence. I'm living in this area for over 30 years with my family. We built our house here, have our children and everything here. Before the last election, they came in, Mr. Amos came and said we are to apply for sending an application towards the land. We did so, and they sent out some persons from Land Authority to us. And they came, they walk around and they do an inventory, saying they want to know what is on the property. And they walk around each and every person with everybody's name on it. They said the next person that would be coming would be surveyor, and they're not gonna push people off the land. They're gonna do it just the way that you have the piece of land. And yesterday, only to see Land Authority come here, we expecting to hear that the land is ready to survey, that people can get a title. Only to see them come with this letter showing that we are to evacuate the land. And this is what the letter says to us by the 6th of December. Where we are going by the 6th of December. This can't work. It can't happen. We expect them to come and have a dialogue with us. Nobody come to talk to us more than to bring an eviction letter. I am totally upset. Me no sleep last night. Me can't sleep.
Another resident, Frederick Moyton, said he has been living on the roadside land since 1972, or for 50 years now. It's where he raised all his children and invested everything he worked for.
This situation can't read to me, man. This is a bad idea. So which part will I live? Family on this land and now kids me have. My children, them 6 children, and 7 grand now. So this condition can't read to me, man. So where will I live?
I go and come in last night and I come here say letter drop off towards land and property. So we trespass on property where we live here much years. So if the government want the land or want we live better, enough just thing there. Just get the land severe and make it take time pay for it. We can't pay for the land where we not think there, where we not severe or we don't know how much we are pay for. You understand? So right now when me here now, it's like a knife on my belly. Because then get me ignorant, you see me? And so if we move off a land, where we all move go? Yeah?
Residents in this and other communities in the LlUADASVALE division have had to struggle hard for decades to become legitimate landowners in an area steeped in sugarcane plantation history. The land in question was once owned by the nearby Worthy Park Sugar Estate. Residents claimed that late former Prime Minister Michael Manley acquired the property in what was his thrust to have more working-class citizens become landowners. A number of small farmers planted sugarcane on the land and supplied the crop to Worthy Park Sugar Estate. As the years go by, and in times when the prices of sugar plunged, the small cane farmers started building homes or selling the land for relatively low prices to potential house builders. There is virtually no cane left on the property. More and more houses are being built, now more than ever.
We have to live somewhere on earth. We can't live in the sky. You understand? We can't live on the sea.
Most of the new houses are being built by hard-working and ambitious young people from the area. Now they fear losing everything. Like many of the residents, Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Northwest, Hugh Graham, is asking the government for lenience and dialogue.
I intend to meet with the residents, and I am talking to the government people because I want the background of why they are doing this. So when I meet with the residents, I am able to explain the government's position, especially because I understand their position. Whether I agree with their position is certain, I don't know. But at least I need to know. I am the Member of Parliament for North West St. Catherine, and they haven't spoken to me. Nobody has called me to say, this is what is happening, this is what we're going to do. and these are the reasons why we're doing it. Very, very out of order, very unprofessional approach. As upset as the residents are, even more upset.
The notices were served on the same day that agents of the state demolished some houses built on government land at Clifton in the Portmore area of St. Catherine. The residents here in LlUADASVALE division trapped in a...
Yeah. Poor people, the LlUADASVALE people, don't have no fear for them Gaia, man. Don't have no fear for them Gaia. What they are doing is illegal, and by now, them know. You can see Andrew HOLNESS the other day, yeah, when him go down Clifton. Or him son, why him go down there if the people them was so wrong? You know, see, backtrack him a backtrack on the wrong move, the illegal move we make, because people like us out here watch. Glean a TVG and them people, them just, like we say, them just repeat what Parliament say. And some people were coming in my comment section, I try to tell me, say, we forgot trim, we forgot them thing they can't go on a UK. We have a video, we're going to show on right now where the UK people, you know, see, there are some people where the Irish traveler them, you know, can Google it, YouTube it, you see the Irish traveler them eviction and thing like that, how it operates in the UK and how them people go about. You know, see, you can see, say, and this is a regular thing, an everyday thing, because I'm just move from one place to the next, go do the same thing all over again, and another council have to repeat the same judicial process in order to move them. Nobody can just run up and they go bully them and bat them up and things like that. And even when the court give bailiff and police permission for go move them on, a lot of time them stand them grounds and the community come out in support of them as well. You know, see, not because on this occasion them move them on and use various equipment for move them on, or people them move on voluntarily or whatever. You have times when them just can't do it. Right across the road, that's from my yard, you have one right here now where nobody now move. You know, see it, and we are delving into that a little more. You know, see it, but you have some diabolic people, Jamaican, black people themselves, where support the bully bad man governmentism where our politicians them down there go on with. You know, see, because we can't just say, bro, God no more alone, because, like I said, when certain things talk, if you not go say it, you go near so, and we don't love the quiet, you know, petty eggshell move where Mark Golding are going with regarding them development here and poor people. And the thing about it is that their guidelines set out long time when I read, too, where them people need supposed to observe and not ignore it just to them feel like some people are educated enough to deal with it. But we're there, you know, we're not TVG, we're not CVM, we can't buy away. Gleaner was set up on the back of them same depravity to maintain them structure here, because the people them never want to work on the cane farm for little and nothing, start protest, and the guy them go open a Gleaner company for propagate them propaganda and shit like that against the people and make them look bad. And the rest of the world accept them bringing in farmers, slaves from everywhere else. Anyway, make way watch the video here.
Everyone form, hold on. Then calm. I am.
They came with a crane as I was on top of the tripod and put a harness on me and then lifted me off of the tripod. It was quite peaceful. We were at height. The people on the ground weren't treated so calmly, and it was quite violent the way that they dealt with my friend who's in a wheelchair. Pulled his wheelchair back while his arm was locked into a lock-on tube. So I'm quite angry about what happened, to be honest with you, but I was treated quite calmly because I was up in the air.
Yes. God. Fuck off.
it's completely over the top. The travellers have been here, no problem at all the local residents don't mind them being here. There was no notification of the road closure, so I've just had to do about a 2-mile round trip up the mound to be able to get my daughter to school.
And it's something that, you know, I think the community feels quite strongly about. There's about 25-30 protesters have turned up.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the fact that, you know, there is this eviction taking place?
Well, I think it's an illegal eviction. I mean, I'm sure the road closure, I don't know, I mean, the council must have granted that, but it's a massive inconvenience to the locals. And like I said, there was absolutely no problem with the travellers being here. So I understand that the land is owned by the Western Wales Utility Company. You know, they're claiming that they're going to start developing the site. That's probably not true. So I don't understand quite how much kerfuffle is going on for just some innocent people that are living there, you know.
Yes, as you can see, it happening in Britain too. White people do it too. And you can see this right, where they exercise, apply to Jamaican too, because everybody is under the international human rights community. You understand what I say? It's not a part of that. It's a dictatorship government one side where can't talk to nobody. Like Cuba. Cuba is not that, you know, but the sanction and the isolation of Cuba under now, at them type of government there, no, accordingly with the international human rights, you know, charter. See? No, Jamaica is definitely not that, because Jamaica gets support. Jamaica have seat at the UN and all of them sort of sit. The Jamaicans politicians know, so they're not supposed to do them thing. It's illegal. Them do them thing up on the back of the bullyism and the ignorance of the people regarding them rights. Anyway, I'm not going to read not your international human rights, no, you know. I'm going to read Jamaica's guideline for dealing with informal settlers. You know, see, bear with me, because, you know, a 10-page, I'm going to read through it as fast as possible, and then I'll show you a video where the PNP, the PM, and the Prime Minister get called out by the citizens of them down at Clifton when them go down there, the people them shame him and tell him say him a liar, open in front of him face, and him could not rebut, him couldn't defend it. You understand what I say? There was no comeback, him have to just accept it, because he never give the people them no notice of intent to take them a court first, like a salmon for a court, so that a judge can decide. Him not do not like that. Him just send police and soldier down to bulldog. And police and soldier, you know, say, you not press button, you not move like press button, you not go on like you can't tell a guy no when him make you violate human right peoples. The people them want to come for protect human rights. It just go to show it wasn't created to protect Jamaica. When you come to protect the same boy them who own them Chicago State from day one. And still do the job one was created to do. You know, see, this needs some resolution or dissolution. You know, see, Rastafari. Anyway, I'm going to read this. The following guidelines for dealing with informal settlers / squatters are for use by all government ministries, agencies, statutory boards and companies. Number 1, aims and objective. The fundamental aim of the squatter management guideline is to provide guidance to the implementing agencies by way of recommended actions to avert future increase of unplanned illegal development and to assist in resolving shelter needs among the targeted population. The major objective of these guidelines are to prevent squatting from monitoring and prevent squatting through monitoring and evicting. See? Legalize and regularize where possible the property rights of occupants in situation of insecure tenure. Prevent unplanned and unauthorized development, especially those that are detrimental to human health, the environment, and the community. Promote planned development through relocation and or regularization by coordinating activities with other ministries, agencies, and communities and programs such as Operation Pride. 2. Policy guidelines. Prevention. You have to, the owner of the property have a duty to prevent these things. And listen, all owners of government land are to develop and maintain effective monitoring and enforcement mechanism. These properties are to be monitored on a continual basis to ensure that no squatting takes place. Priority areas such as beaches, coastal areas, environmentally sensitive areas, road and rail reserves, all road and rail reserves, as well as reservation for irrigation canals, must be given special attention. Any infringement on the properties are to be noted and actions taken to prevent occupation. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, will be mandated and trained to deal with complaints pertaining to squatting and to assist in the monitoring of Crown lands. At the right indication that capturing of squatting on land is being contemplated, steps should be taken by the respective landowner to destroy immediately any structures, including foundations, fences, etc., being erected. The JSF must be deployed to ensure that law and order is maintained. That's immediately, as soon as a man put him foot on your land. Not 6 months after, not 10 months after, not 10 years after. Anyway, preventing any further squatting is critical to addressing the issue. The government must state in clear and unequivocal terms that squatting will not be condoned and must cease with immediate effect. Existing laws which are being violated will be enforced with immediate effect, and where strengthening of legislation is required, the necessary amendment will be made. Illegal buildings and structures in areas subject to development orders will be demolished pursuant to Town and Country Planning Act. The Trespass Act empowers the owner, agent of property to remove the squatter upon their occupation under a year. The Act also empowers justices of the peace, JPs, to issue warrants to trespassers to appear before a resident magistrate. The owner agent can apprehend the trespasser and take him to a JP for the purpose of issuing a warrant to bring him before the court. The Judicator Resident Magistrate Act make provision for civil proceedings against person in illegal occupation of land. Civil proceeding not nothing to do with police and government. You see, the owner would have to lodge a claim with the court for recovery of the land and then serve same on the squatter. Aye, wonder if you not see what go on here, so how much violation government badness are perpetrate. 4. Police officers are to be educated and trained to assist landowners in protecting their property. It is envisioned that a system similar to Crime Stop with a hotline number be established. This will enable the general public to report the first sign of squatting they see to the police or local planning authority, parish council or KSAC to act. It is critical that the local authority be educated and equipped to respond in timely manner. Landowners can bring to the attention of the local planning authorities the fact that persons are squatting and undertaking the construction of a house or any other structure for the authority to issue stop orders to stem the illegal activity. Parish Council KSAC can, on their own volition, take the necessary step to stop an emerging squatter settlement because such development are carried out in contravention of the relevant planning act. Example, the Town and Country Planning Act, the Local Improvement Act, the National Resource Conservation Act, and acts dealing with construction of buildings. Evictions. Where it has been determined that eviction is to be undertaken, the recommended strategy is as follows. Persons in occupation for 10 years or less will first be given verbal notification to vacate the land or premises. Where the occupant failed to respond within 14 days of verbal notice, an official notice to quit will be served. There will be adequate and reasonable given to all those persons who will be affected by the eviction process. A period of up to 30 days should be given for persons to remove themselves and their personal belongings where possible and practical. Notices will contain the names and address of the person to be served. The press may be advised of the issuance of the notice and the impending demolition with details such as location, time of eviction, agency responsible, address, contact person, etc. in order to remind the squatters and inform the public. If the occupants have planted cash crops on the property, consideration may be given to allow them ample time to repeat their product to reap their products. Social impact assessment. Where squatters are in occupation for over 10 years, the landowner must collect basic socio-economic data with guidance from the Ministry of Local Authority on each site settlement so that the profile of the illegal occupants can be documented and the efforts made to regularize or relocate the occupants. The information must be submitted to the Ministry of Land and Environment, who will work in collaboration with local authorities to address the problem. Each parish council will maintain a local database and are required to assist in the data collection and problem-solving activities. The assessment will include, but not limited to, the following actions: detailed socio-economic survey, site investigation assessment, development options, and if the site is required for other types of development or is unsuitable for its current use, relocation or resettlement should be pursued and a suitable relocation site identified. It is expected that government will provide funding for these studies. It is recommended that university college students be utilized to undertake the studies for which accreditations could be considered. Accreditations could be considered. Government agencies proposing to remove squatters must publicly state the reason for their removal. Their reasons could include: 1. The land is required in public interest or for a public purpose. 2. The land is needed for planning development purposes. 3. The property is situated in a hazard-prone or environmentally sensitive area, for example, on gully banks. Gully people, Mount View people, know what to yourself, floodplains, etc., and that disasters can adversely affect the occupants. Their structures as well as cause tremendous damage to the environment. Halting or preventing the wanton destruction of the environment, as may be manifested by the indiscriminate felling of trees, the inadequate disposal of sewage waste, resulting in the pollution of the water table, especially in areas where active wells are located. The pollution of coastal zones, including coral reef, and particularly where the areas are used as fishing and are bathing areas. 2 of 4, relocation. Relocation, voluntary or involuntary, where feasible, will be used as an alternative means of addressing the squatting issues as opposed to eviction. Government is expected to provide land and housing for relocation, as these are central to the process. Considerations are to be given to temporary accommodation, a holding area until permanent accommodations can be arranged. In addition, consideration must be given to the leasing of government land or houses to the needy based on certain criteria where these exist. But timely collection of rent and maintenance of these units must be ensured. Squatter settlement in the red zero tolerance zone must be identified and prioritized for relocation. It is important that dialogue be held with persons who will be affected so that they may become adequately aware of the terms of relocation and have the opportunity to be a part of the relocation exercise. A clear assessment of the current situation, including the number of persons to be relocated and the number of lots needed, must be clearly identified and presented in the form of a report. The report should also include a possible development option that may be pursued with a recommendation for the preferred course of action. Boy, I hope I read this fast enough. The agency undertaking the removal exercise may, if they can afford to do so, offer assistance to affected persons to help with the relocation. It is recommended that means them supposed to send van if them can. Send van and think come good, but them not obligated to do it. It is recommended that where action is being taken to relocate squatters, it could be useful to photograph squatters in front of their respective dwelling structure with the name of all adult persons occupying the lot. The community group should work with Operation Pride professionals to assist in the preparation of a development plan for the area to which they are being relocated for shelter accommodation. The plan should give consideration to minimum starter standards for infrastructure and utilities with phases and increment development in low-income settlement. The low-income settlement policy report is referred for details on implementation. The starter home project implemented by the Ministry of Housing in the 1970s should be revisited as a possible shelter option. Sites for relocation must be selected in accordance with government site selection criteria. Our relocation must include the involvement and our approval of local planning authorities as well as the other approved agencies such as NEPA, ODPEM, Ministry of Health, and the National Water Commission. Consultation with the agencies that have responsibility for the development of infrastructure, especially road, water, sewage, and electricity is required. Public awareness. The public should be made aware of the circumstances under which a relocation, eviction of squatters is being carried out. The ministry will spearhead a public education program on squatting. It is strongly suggested that the community forum involving all major stakeholders, landowners, squatters, approval agencies, NGOs, etc. be held either on a regional or parish basis. The program will speak to the rights and responsibilities of landowners and seek to sensitize squatters and the public at large on the legal ramification of illegal application and the hazards of settlement in unplanned areas. There will be a general appeal to anyone to heighten their awareness of and to assist in the prevention of squatting. Involvement of the JCF and JDF. Where evictions or relocation is being proposed, the matter must be discussed with the JCF and where necessary the Jamaica Defence Force. The JCF may also be asked to assist with the eviction, removal, or relocation of squatters, and if necessary arises, the JDF. If necessity arises, the JDF be deployed to assist the JCF. The JDF could also assist in the construction of relocation infrastructure if the government so desires. Timing and eviction, removal, relocation of squatters. All eviction, removal, relocation of squatters is to be carried out in the daytime between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. The relevant councillors, members of parliament, and the parish council KCC must be advised. Regularization. The proper planning and development of existing squatter area into acceptable development is another option for addressing the squatter problem. This involves subdividing of the site, legalizing the occupant's tenure and general improvement of infrastructure. A squatter review steering committee will advise on the suitability and availability of a site for regularization. Where regularization is recommended, the various development option example Pride must be considered. The ascended manuals community development and empower, legal starter standards, and a house design and cost manual will guide this process. Where private property is squatted and the owner are willing to divest, the government may assist by being a facilitator, a mediator between the two parties so that an agreement can be reached to sell the property to the Ministry of Housing for the purpose of establishing a planned development. Land sale. Where regularization is possible, the squatters will be required to pay for the land at current market rate or at negotiable rate with agreed terms of payment. Rental for the property occupied over the past 10 years for a maximum of 5 years will be calculated by the landowners and be added to the selling price of the property. This will ensure equity, enhance the credibility of the system, and discourage squatting. Illegal sale, lease of government-owned land. Persons who have captured government land and are illegally renting, leasing, or selling portions to others will be identified and prosecuted. It must be noted that adverse possession of crown land cannot be proved until there is continuous, uninterrupted possession of the land for 60 years. In an effort to prevent and mitigate squatting, all owners of property, government and private individuals, must consistently monitor their property and ensure that appropriate action is taken, as when we read up front, up at the top part. This. Seen? Persons desirous of obtaining land by purchase or lease from the government must contact the National Land Agency. The housing needs of the poor and indigent will be addressed through the ministry's responsible for housing and social welfare. Persons who are considered to be indigent or poor and are in need of shelter may also be registered with the PATH, Poor Relief Program, administered by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. You have that at Jamaica? Never know that. The provision of shelter then becomes the responsibility of the Ministry of Housing. It is recommended that the provision of rental houses for the poor and needy be revisited. There is the need for a consistent welfare housing policy to ensure that the poor and needy are provided for. Institutional framework. Squatting is a national problem, and management of a problem cannot be left solely to any one ministry or agency. The solution lies in a collaborative approach. Currently, several government agencies are directly involved in the squatter management because of the nature of their activities. They include Ministry of Land and Environment, Ministry of Water and Housing, National Housing Development Corporation, National Housing Trust, Urban Development Corporation, National Land Agency, Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the local authorities. All government agencies responsible for land and development are expected to coordinate activities and play a major role in the management of the squatting. Nobody said nothing about Ministry of Social Services there, so Social Services and Welfare. You see, them supposed to they monitor the people, you know, social right. But we could get on with it. Ministry of Land and Environment. The Ministry of Land and Environment, in conjunction with the Ministry of Works and Housing, shall be the central authority with overall executive responsibility for the implementation of a policy. Its responsibilities include ensuring administration of the policy, building capacity where necessary to effectively implement the policy. Squatter Review Steering Community. A Squatter Review Steering Community with broad-based representation to include government and civil society will be established by the Ministry of Land and Environment. Its major function will include 1. Assistance in formulating and coordinating policies, plans, and programs for squatter management. 2. Determining ownership of squatter land and the area of land occupied. 3. Determining suitability of land, whether it is needed for a national project or for protection of the environment, road, reservation, or conservation. 4. Deciding, recommending, and whether a squatter site can be formalized into a legitimate settlement. 5. Recommending where regularization is possible, the best development mode, operation pride, use of the ascend manual, etc. 6. Monitoring implementation of policy. 7. Identifying appropriate organizations and agencies for promoting training, education, and public awareness program in squatting and resettlement issues. C. National Land Agency. NLA will work in collaboration with the ministry to identify appropriate sites, obtain market valuation of selected sites, and recommend it to the ministry for approved divest. You know, see, so that are the deal, that are the guidelines with which government or anybody who want evict squatters should apply themselves. See, now you have a next thing where we want to show to the item. A next video we want to show to the item, and that video there. Now, you know, Andrew Wellness I get called out by the people when bulldozer down them place. Me go watch that video there and, you know, on the
What about a person like me, a mother of 3, living in a rent house that rent raised every 3 months? I am very uncomfortable. Building an 8-bedroom here for my kids, and before you even come and say something, they even state that we were issued with a warning, which was a lie. That was a lie, and it was written from the person. That is also a lie. No, and they didn't find out how we got the land. It wasn't captured by me. I paid for my land.
Okay.
I paid 3 times because I couldn't afford it one time.
Or you made down payments, installments.
Right.
Okay.
I got my receipts.
When we examined the situation, we only acted when we were certain that certain steps were taken. So we had the evidence of the posting of stop orders. I will, so, no, you,
That's a lie.
Please.
I'm going to just respond to her very quickly, and
Please,
then a
allow
lady
the
there.
lady's question to be answered.
Right.
Please.
I'm going to just respond to her very quickly, and then a
allow
lady
the
there.
lady's question to be answered.
Right. So that's one. Then number 2, the land that you claim to purchase, right? The government would want to know which arm of the government.
Yeah, the people them vex and call him liar and him can't defend it. You see, the video are long today, I'm telling you, but I say it have to go because people have to learn, have to teach, and have to learn what I go and observe, what I go and call out government and show government, say you have eyes out there where what to him can't pay for, him can't buy. You don't see it? No, yeah, I love that. I love how the people them deal with it. I love it. I don't have nothing else to say. See, I have another video here where I show again with Andrew HOLNESS. I talk about bill, him not tear down. You know, see it? And after I play that video there quickly again, for the back of that, I show you the video there. End result, after people have in a Clifton, where the man say a building him say, but when you look on what go on in a Clifton, you have to wonder why him call building. You know, see the end result. But I could watch that quick clip here. Him defend himself. I try to justify him action. I mean, there's not even no justification. You know, in just borderline. I've been just upon the verge of apology. You know, see, because him know him violate the rights of regular Jamaican. You know, see.
I am a builder. I don't like to lick down things. All I have been telling people to do is build. But we cannot build illegally. I can see, you know, the roads are not properly aligned and some boundaries may have to be adjusted. But I am aware that the SCJ, that is the Sugar Company of Jamaica, is putting in place a program, or has put in place a program to regularize. Some of you would have been given letters of possession. The SCJ has literally gone and surveyed the land, and they have subdivided it, and they are in possession of titles. And we shall come back in a few weeks' time to actually distribute your titles. Having toured the area, it is clear that there needs to be some work done on roads. I'm not sure what your water situation is. I hear it is intermittent. Sometimes you have, sometimes you don't. And you do have your electricity poles in, so at least that part of it is solved. You will be connected to the sewage that is being developed in the area. And your water supply will be improved by the water supply that is going to be developed. Well, is already being developed for the area. Your roads, we will seek to do a few of them, but we can't do all of them right away. I am going to be talking to the SCJ to see what we can do in the short term to at least get your main road coming around improved. Now, I do know that the lands adjoining you, not in this community, because this is a community that the government of Jamaica has acknowledged as a legitimate community to be properly regularized. So you have nothing to fear. All right? The government of Jamaica will protect your property rights and will give you your title. You can go to the bank with it. But I am aware that there are others who have sought to occupy lands adjoining this community. And I tell you this, and I'm sharing it in my heart, I am a builder. I don't like to lick down things. All I have been telling people to do is build. But we cannot build illegally. We cannot seek to get property illegally. All of you here are going to become property owners. And it cannot be that someone can just come in your yard and take it away or occupy it illegally. It is a fundamental principle of a free and democratic country, that the property rights have to be protected. So for you looking on, you might say, boy, give them a blighter. But if you keep doing that, it breaks down the law and order till eventually it is at your doorstep and you wonder why. It is because we didn't draw the line when we should.
This now is another video here where show you the end result of what go on a Clifton. You see, and we still say we don't love the inactive or non representation from the PNP party. In other case, Rasta, it's like the PNP invisible. See, it's like it confirmed the allegation of me here said that big money is earmarked to Jamaica and Andrew Holness have to spend it until 2030 and the PNP get for them cut and satisfied, same way we spare them. We here, we exploit some more. And because Jamaica have a thing down there named Freedom of Information Act, where them supposed to release certain information to you if demanded. See, so we get to that. And I want to know, if it take 10 years, we get back Pinnacle. Because Richard late them thief Pinnacle. See? Penal charge them at 1,000 years because them have out of St. Thomas. And, nobody know them come by that. And nobody now question them thing there. It's poor people where, set up themselves on a little piece of land just to have a bit of dignity, a dignified life. And make them children grow, come have shelter and things like that. And then people get pressure and without due course of the law. See it, and them things not helpful to the criminality we are going. When a guy up there on the top of the seat and a claim say him, this not being an example to the youths them down here when pay attention to law and order. See it, if the government are deal with it, so and the bully boy bad man is him, what you think? Get a youth or do. See, Peter Tosh said it, can't blame the youths. And I give thanks. Rastafari.